Hi everyone, Stacy here with the Bargain Bandit. Welcome to episode 14. Today's date is September 11th, 2012. And like everyone else, I can remember exactly where I was and what I was doing on September 11th, 2001. I was at my computer. I had woken up, I went to my computer, checked some message forums that I frequented, and everyone was talking about it, so I turned on the TV, and lo and behold, I was watching what was going down. I turned on the TV right before the second plane hit, so I actually saw the second plane hit the tower, and I remember just sitting in awe as what was going on. I saw what the cameras were revealing, and then when the first tower fell, I think my heart must have stopped. And then when the second fell, it was just one of the most devastating things in our history, obviously. And, much like everyone else, we all remember exactly what we were doing and what was going on and our feelings and emotions at the time. And even now I'm tearing up a little bit because I didn't know anybody personally who died in those tragedies. But I'm really grateful that Osama bin Laden is not on this earth anymore to terrorize us again. And I know that there are people who are willing to take his place, but at least he's one known factor we don't have to worry about anymore. Anyway, on a happier note, I had a pretty decent day, interesting day. My husband and I were pulling out some of his old coins and took some of them to a gold and silver and jewelry dealer, and I sold $40 worth of coins for $400. So we had a bunch of old quarters and dimes that had 90% nickel content. So, if you've got some old coins, pull them out. Gold and silver is through the roof right now, and you can get a lot of money. Basically, every 4 quarters and every 10 dimes were worth like $22. So, big money there. We'll continue on. This is episode 14, so I will be going over some of the things that I have bought at yard sales and sold on eBay and showing you the kind of profit I make, as well as my top favorite 3 things that I purchased this past weekend. So stay tuned for that, and thank you for watching, and I will talk to you later. And by later, I of course mean right now. So the first item I'm going to talk about is a game called Tetris Link, and I bought it with a bunch of other family-style games. I'd never seen it before. I thought it was kind of neat. Thought it'd be worth a lot of money. I was wrong. But it's one of those things where I just put all my games up on eBay and, for a price that I think is fair, whether or not it's the price that everyone else is asking for. And a lot of times you'll see people like try and start their auctions out for board games at 99 cents. And that's always a mistake, because if you start your board game out at 99 cents, board games are not those high in demand items. You're probably going to get 99 cents for it. There's not a lot of people competing on board games. There's not a lot of bidders out there. Board games are really the kind of thing you have to wait for the right person to come along who wants your item. And so for Tetris Link, that's kind of what happened here. Somebody came along, wanted the item, and paid the price that I was asking for it, which, granted wasn't a whole lot, but, I didn't pay a whole lot. They wanted more for it, but I thought, well, I'm bundling with all this other stuff. Let me see if I can get it for cheaper, thinking in my head, oh yeah, this is totally going to be worth it. And I'm really glad that I ended up paying what I paid for it, because any more would have been overpaying. But, Tetris Link, sometimes board games that are based on video games, like World of Warcraft board game, great buys. I mean, I sold one for $60, but if it had been in better condition, mintish condition, it would have gone for $100 or more. To give you an idea, World of Warcraft board game's worth a lot. Other times, like Tetris Link, the value's just not there. So another game I bought that when I bought it, I thought, ooh, this is going to be worth so much money. And I was wrong on, was the Mad Magazine board game. I didn't pay a lot for it. I bundled it with a bunch of other games. I'm a big bundler. If somebody's got a whole lot of games, I'm like, I'll take the whole set, and I do, math in my head based on what they were asking, and I, take a couple bucks off, and sometimes that turns into a really great deal, and people almost always say, yeah, go ahead. So the Mad Magazine board game, it's vintage from the 1979, old game. The box was not in the best condition. The interior contents were well played with, but it was complete. Always important with board games. The value, even in a mint version, just really not there for this game. It's a common game. Everybody's trying to sell it. I guess everybody bought it back in the day, so everybody's trying to sell their copy now. So there's a lot of them out there, and of course, supply versus demand. If there's a huge supply of a game, the value of it's going to be down. So it was a good buy because of the price I paid for it, and I've had it for a while, so it took a while to sell, just like I had Tetris Link and I had the next game I'm going to be talking about for a while. But, in general, if I'm patient, the games always sell. Every one of these games is going to sell at some point. Some buyer is going to want them, for the price that I'm asking. It's just a matter of being patient. Sometimes it's like really hard when I go through a day and I don't get a sale and I'm like, maybe I should cut all my prices. But I'm like, patience, Staci. Just be patient. So the Mad Magazine board game sold finally. Again, I thought it would be worth a lot of money, but it just, too many people have it. The Balderdash series in general is a good pickup, although the game that I just sold, called Beyond Balderdash, took longer to sell than my Balderdash did, and I haven't been able to find any other copies of Balderdash. Balderdash and Beyond Balderdash were games that were released in the mid-'80s, the original, vintage versions. So it's a very popular game. A lot of people want it. The Balderdash went like really quickly. Beyond Balderdash, I've had it for a couple months and it finally sold. These games will eventually sell, depending on price point, of course. Sometimes you have to, watch the price point, what other people are selling it for. And again, there's the fear of, somebody's selling it for 99 cents. How can I compete with that? Well, you can't. Realistically, you can't. That person's getting screwed on their buy. I mean, they're not going to make any money. The cost of shipping a game like Beyond Balderdash is going to eat up all of their profits for, on eBay and PayPal fees, especially now that eBay charges based on, the shipping cost as well. There's no money in that. It's usually either a screw up or I don't know what else it would be if it's not a screw up. Somebody thinking, I'll get a bunch of bidders, and then they get one bidder. But, in general, if you set your price point at the price you really want, like to at least make a few bucks on, it'll eventually sell. Strawberry shortcake in general is a pretty popular item and can sell pretty easily if you set your price point right, and sometimes if you bundle things. I picked up at a yard sale a couple of old vintage strawberry shortcake card games. They were, the boxes were in really, really rough shape. The cards were, well used. One of them was probably not complete, but I couldn't tell because I couldn't, there was no listing of how many cards that were on there. But they were, had really interesting artwork. They were the oversized cards for children. I bundled the two together to give it more value, and it sold to a lovely person in Australia. Once again, Australians are doing really, really well for me. And but the games were called Pick a Berry, and then my favorite, and you can kind of tell this was written, a really long time ago because there's no way you would name a children's game this today, was called Spank the Berry Bird. Yeah, Spank the Berry Bird. They sold, and I got a really good value for them. Bundling the two together was definitely the smart decision in this case. Surprise, surprise, I sold something else Scrabble related. In this case, it was the blue Scrabble Collector's Edition tin with the blue tiles, the gold pews, really nice board, velvet blue case. It had like a holder that you put the tiles in, not the bag. They actually have a holder separate from that you put the tiles in. Really, really fancy. I reduced the price on it. I did start a sale. I have some of my items 20% off right now. So that was part of the sale items, and it sold really quickly after I reduced the price. So I figured that my price point was just a little too high originally. You can kind of tell sometimes if you watch your views and your watchers. If you're getting a lot of views and a lot of watchers, but nobody's biting on it after a couple weeks, you probably have your price point just a little too high. So reducing it by 20%, it sold right away. And Scrabble is one of those interesting things. It sells either in pieces or, in like the special editions sell really well too. Everybody, even though there's a lot of copies of Scrabble out there, everybody still wants something Scrabble related. So my top 3 picks from this last weekend, I once again didn't go out and do a whole lot of shopping. This weekend I'm going to go out and do hardcore shopping. It's going to be non-stop shopping for Staci this weekend because I really need to get serious about my inventory. But my picks for this last weekend are this that I got actually at the thrift store. you know, I told you that I had to make a trip to the thrift store pretty soon in my last video, and so I did. And this was sitting there, and I was like, boom, done. So it was $1.99 at the thrift store. It's almost complete. It's missing a couple of the little pieces, which is not critical to a game like this. But, you know, nonetheless, I'll have to reveal that, and it will make it worth less. The box is in not the best condition. That'll make it worth less, but I'll still make a pretty decent profit off of it. And that was kind of one of those, you know, yay, I went to the thrift store. It's the only, like, really good buy I got. I got a couple other things, but it was mostly cards and stuff that I'll bundle together into one giant lot at some point. But, you know, risk was a good find. The next thing I got at a yard sale, one of the few yard sales I attended this weekend, and you know there were plenty to go to. It's still in San Antonio. There's about 200 every weekend, and I don't imagine we have much of an off season here. Although this is my first year, so I don't really know what the off season is going to be like. But this is something I found at a yard sale. Picked it up for 50 cents, and it's a Thomas the Train engine. It's a light jacket with a hood. It's, you know, in really good condition. It's official, you know, Thomas. It's a size 3T. I'm going to put it up soon on eBay. But it's in fantastic condition. The zipper is in good condition. No issues with the zipper. The person took good care of it. So that was definitely a good purchase. I should get at least 10 out of it. I'm not sure. I might put it up for an auction starting at $9.99 because I don't normally sell clothing. So that's kind of a out of my comfort zone thing. And then the third thing, I paid $1.50 for this whole thing, and it was the red one. Okay, so Rock'em Sock'em Robots, and this isn't the old one. This is a newer one, but the old the red one was included. There was the red robot, but the head was broken off, and there were some other problems cosmetically. So I was like, well, you know, the value's just not there in this. So I was just going to be like, you know, put it up there. Maybe I'll come across the red one. But then I did some research, and you can see the head comes up still. I did some research and discovered that I could piece this out. I could sell just the blue robot, and I can sell just the ring separately and make, you know, a decent amount of money. I'll probably get $6 or $7 just for the robot, and the ring I should be able to get, you know, hopefully at least $10 out of. And I paid $1.50 for, you know, all of it. The Rock'em Sock'em Robots. So it's just one of those interesting little buys that I bought it because, you know, I didn't realize how bad a condition that the red robot was in until I got it home, and I was like, ah! And then I was like, well, I'm going to have to hold on to it and eat the $1.50, but it turns out I can recoup my money and actually make some profit on a broken item. So there you go. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed my top 3 and the entire show. Please give me some comments down here. I appreciate comments. Please like me. Subscribe up here. Thank you. I am 1 subscriber away from number 30. So if you want to be number 30, hit that subscribe button. You can visit my eBay auctions, Kraus House of Cards and Games. And I have 2 websites, krausehouseofcards.com and krausehouseofcardsandgames.com. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on Thursday with my my items that I have up on eBay currently for sale video. So thank you, everyone, and see you Thursday. Bye-bye.